So, first of all, welcome to everybody here. I really appreciate it to be the host. I really appreciate it and honor to have you here for a lot of reasons. Main one, of course, is that we are part of a network where you are part of, and where we are really working hard in order to achieve our goals. Second, we want you to enjoy the city. We want you to enjoy Genoa, a city that, believe it or not, has been in compliance with those things for long years in the past. And recently, in the last 50, 60 years, really struggled to be resilient, struggled to be, as I said here, sustainable, and struggled to really make a change in the world as we would like to do. But now, since the last couple of years, we are back on track. We are back on the real track for a city that want to be sustainable. A city that want to have a sustainable economy, a sustainable growth, sustainable people, citizens and people that understand what does it mean to leave the world and the city better than what it was before. That's exactly the point. We want to leave the world better than what we found. If everybody in the world is going to do that point, believe me, the world is going to improve dramatically. And I understand the percentages, I understand the goals. We have a goal, for example, for 2025, we set up a goal in the municipality of Genoa not to have any combustion engine for public transportation anymore. 2025. All public transportation will be electric. And we can do it. We have the money, we have the power for decision power, and we have also the plans to do that, okay? And we are committed to do it. But what is more important is really to make the change in the mind of the people, in the mind of the citizen, because the behavior of the people is what is really going to make a sustainable city. Not only the behavior of the administration. The administration can guide, can facilitate, can make the thing easier, but at the end we need our 600,000 people, hopefully 5 years will be 700,000 people, okay, doing a job in order to be sustainable citizens. That is really our goal. And take it short, should I have the speech also after? Because I want to just invite everybody to a wonderful dinner with pasta al pesto. Make sure you don't forget about that, okay? Pasta al pesto, make sure you ask for fried anchovies, okay? That is a specialty here. Fried anchovies and pasta al pesto. Enjoy, and then you will remember Genoa forever. Thank you very much.
Dear Mayor, thank you very much for receiving us. It's a very big pleasure to have all united here in this room with the Christel logo, I believe, in my right, so something that reminds me also for my country. Let me say that I will have my first words, of course, is for what you have been doing here, and the rest I will have a moment in the end to address you all. I just have 2 minutes to say that this is a big commitment for Porto. We have been involved in the Covenant of Mayors for several years, and the Covenant of Mayors now for climate and energy is a big step. And what I think is needed is, and the message that we want to address is that we want to move fast. We need to move fast as cities, and Porto wants to be in that lead. We also want to lead by example. It's very important for the cities to give the examples, as we know for several national governments. And we need to change the paradigm in several themes. In the energy, by producing, by use efficiently our energy, and also by storing the energy that will come in the very near future. In transport, we need a connected and sharing mobility, and we need to push the public transport. So this is a very important step also for the European as a whole, and also to change in the end, I will leave with these 3 topics. There are more, but of course these 3 topics, to change the type of the economy that we have. We need a circular economy, we need to change how we deal with the world, and this is also something that without it we don't have any other way of continuing living in this world. So these are the steps: move fast, a big commitment for cities, and cities can drive the world. Thank you very much.
So good evening, and thank you, Marco, for hosting us tonight. And for us it's a big honor to be here tonight, for me to be personally here and to commit to such an important, so many important goals. I will focus just on two aspects because many things have already been said, and I totally agree with what was said before me. First of all, the fact that I think that today cities and mayors can make the difference and must make the difference. I mean, we see often that these goals always depend from someone else. When we talk with people, they say, okay, but you have to do this. What do I have to do? And what is my own responsibility in the community that I live? So I think that the main message, one of the two main messages must be that we as local administrations have the responsibility to obviously get the goal and to work on the goal and to feel that that goal is a priority. But as Marco was saying, we will never get and reach that goal if the community, its inhabitants, the people, the companies, the society feels that that goal is a priority. So we will never achieve those goals if our inhabitants, our people will understand that that goal is not a goal of the European Union, is not a goal of someone else, but it's a goal of a single person for the future, for his life and the future of obviously and future generations. The second point, and I'll conclude because I only have 2 minutes, is that this means that we have the challenge to use, and that's what we're working on, Torino, innovation and the new technologies to face these changes. I mean, in the next 5 or 6 years, we will have the biggest revolution, industrial revolution based on technology. It will be very, very quick, and will totally change mobility, the way we think our cities, the way we move around our cities, the way we work. So in achieving these goals, the main challenge that we have at the local level is to understand how innovation, how the technological revolution will change our way of living, and to get that as an opportunity and not as a threat, we have to understand it now and to achieve those goals, thanks also to innovation. So we will do our part, and we're very happy to be in this obviously wonderful partnership and with this wonderful team. Thank you.
Buonasera. Thank you to Mayor Bucci and to the city of Genoa for all this. The city of Bologna joined the Covenant of Mayors very early, and then we joined also Mayors Adapt in 2014. And we are here again. We are very proud to be here because we want to upgrade our targets in a coherent way with other European cities. Good evening to the Mayor of Tirana that has joined us. So we want to be coherent with the other cities, and we want to upgrade our target and to include our mitigation and adaptation strategies inside our planning tools. We are preparing a new urban general plan, and so we are here to say that the target of the Covenant of Mayors are the target of our urban plan. We recently approved also a sustainable mobility plan for the metropolitan area, and this evening my mayor is not here because he's presenting to the city the first tramway line in Bologna. So our challenge is to keep together environmental policies, mobility and urban planning.
Buonasera, grazie a tutti. I'll switch to English because it's easier. It's a delight to be in Genova. Well done, Mayor. You can tell from the moment you land until you come here, nice and orderly and clean. But since I'm late, this is where you applause for the mayor, right? Well, ask me for your next campaign. But since I'm late, I owe you guys a joke. And the joke goes like this. There was this rabbit in a forest, and he started complaining to his friends. And he tells to his friends, he says, look, I cannot live this life. And they ask him, what's your problem? Well, I'm the bottom of the food chain. Everybody wants to eat the rabbit in the forest. So I'm running away, I live this life of fear and paranoia. I need a solution. So all the friends in the forest say, look, you have to go and ask an expert. Like this compact of mayors, someone who went to Harvard, who works for the European Commission, one of these experts. And maybe they have a solution for you. So the rabbit goes to the owl, who has big glasses, and he's, come si chiama, il gufo. So he goes to the owl and asks about expertise. So he says, I cannot be a rabbit. It's a life of fear, being a conilio the whole time. So the owl fixes the glasses and he says, I have a solution for you, for all of you. The solution is that you have to become a lion. Because if you become a lion, you are the king of the animal kingdom. You are the top of the food chain. no one can eat you, and no one can cause you to fear. The rabbit, Cornelio, is so happy. He's been waiting his whole life for this solution. And he says, you know, my dear owl, I thank you so much. This is the best day of my life. But before I go, can I ask one follow-up question? Yeah, of course, says the owl. How exactly do I become a lion? And this is where the owl says, my friend, I'm only in charge of strategic thinking, not project implementation. So, the fun part is that all the mayors here are like the rabbits. They represent project implementation. And the rest, you know, are the experts who give us this great advice, but in the end of the day, I think the bucket stops with mayor. The reason why I say this is that even in small countries or underdeveloped countries or cities that have seen tremendous urban change through transition after the fall of communism, we have a great relationship with Italy. A lot of Albanians left after the fall of communism and came here, but many became success stories, and many have come back to work with me and are taking great lessons from Genoa, from Torino, definitely from Bologna and Firenze and others. And we are seeing that some solutions, you don't need to be necessarily a member of the European Union or major subsidies, it's about mentality shift. And I say as a mayor, the biggest, the most difficult logistics project as a mayor is only 10 centimeters. From here to here. Asphalt and boulevards and tiles and monuments and parks, everybody knows how to do these days. But changing this 10 centimeter space is the biggest challenge. We've already started. Half of our population either walks or rides the bike, a similar bike share that you have here in Italy, or takes the bus. We have increased in the last 4 years pedestrian spaces by 10-fold. After the fall of communism, one way to show that you made it was to come to Italy and bring back a Fiat, which was not necessarily a means of transport. It was a trophy in order to say, I am not a poor commie anymore. I made it in capitalism, and here is the proof. Here is the medal of glory. And the question was, again, mentality shift. How do we get people to use cars less? More as means of transport for more than 1 or 2 or 5 miles, but not necessarily for small things that we do in a neighborhood. Our commitment is also to introduce electric transport. We have almost changed all of our taxi fleets, and now we're in a position where we're changing also the bus fleet and also learning from some Italian cities. And I think some smart solutions like encouraging everybody to plant a tree for their birthday. Tirana has 1 million people, and last year 127,000 children planted 1 tree for their birthday. The city could not afford it. It would cost me 10 million euros, which is a tenth of my budget. But if you spread and crowdsource and involve everybody to plant a tree or to adopt a kindergarten or a nursery, then even in less developed countries that are struggling with modest budgets, you can achieve amazing things. So I'm excited I made it, and I wish you all very well. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Mayor of Genoa. What I would like to tell you is that I'm often very proud of my city, of what we do. We are very good in mobility, we are very good in biodiversity. But very often I feel shame. I visited a lot of European green capital all around Europe these last years, and I must tell that each time it's such an inspiring for me. We learn so much about the cities, and I want really to tell you thank you for Eurocity, for what you do, because we share a lot and we learn a lot about each other. And I'm very proud to sign tonight for Roland Ries, Deputy Mayor of Strasbourg, the Covenant of Mayors for Energy and Climate. And thank you very much for everything.